Welcome to Little Kitty Big City. Playing Little Kitty Big City makes you feel like you're knocking over objects precariously placed near ledges, as you let your mischievous inner feline personality out of the bag. Little Kitty Big City is an adventure, indie, simulation, platform, casual adventure game that was developed and published by Double Dagger Studios. The story is this. After staying up all night partying, snorting catnip, and whatever else cats can get up to while unsupervised, you awaken on a windowsill, and just as you start to stretch and get your bearings, you fall off of it. While you are falling down, you latch onto a flyboy who then yeets you before you inevitably end up in a trash can, making you the little kitty in a big city. Now it is up to you to help this kitty find its way back home. The game isn't really targeting people that are fans of a good story, instead it's mostly just targeting people who are fans of cats and platforming. Now go and be the kitty. You can play Little Kitty Big City on a mouse and keyboard or a controller, but it is important to note that there are known controller bugs out there. Little Kitty Big City is available on Switch, Xbox Series X/S, Windows, and GeForce Now. And finally, here are the menu settings. There is no cross-saving or cross-play between the platforms, as this is a single-player game only. Little Kitty Big City definitely doesn't look realistic by any stretch. The overall vibe is cartoony, and it does have some polygonal charm to it. It doesn't hurt the eyes to look at, but you definitely won't confuse it with realism. The voice acting between the characters just seem like generic animal sounds, so can't really give any points for that either. And lastly, here are the system requirements, which aren't demanding at all with only a GTX 650 required. This game is pretty short, and the flow of it is going to be heavily influenced by how much exploring you do. If you don't explore much, then the game is just going to be main story quest after main story quest, which heavily involve eating fish. If you want the full experience though, you must let the true essence of a cat take over your soul. You see a bird? Slap the mess out of it and grab its feather. See a pot placed near a ledge, waiting for a noble feline such as yourself to send it to its gravity-induced demise? Knock it over. See the perfect little kitty-sized spot that would be perfect to take a nap in? Have yourself a little snooze. It's all about being a cat. Moving on to the specifics of what you're going to be doing in Little Kitty Big City, we have the most important one of collecting fish. You need fish to progress in the story because they allow you to climb vines. The more fish you have, the longer you can climb. Without this, you won't be able to beat the game at all. Unless you're a speedrunner, of course. The next thing you'll be collecting are feathers. These will allow you to open up fast travel spots around the city. The city isn't super big, and to be honest, I only opened like 2 fast travel spots and was completely fine. In my opinion, I don't even think that these fast travel spots really need to be in this game in the first place, let alone 9 of them. And the last thing are a thing called shinies. Being a cat, you are of course attracted to shiny objects, and you'll need to collect them to satisfy that urge. You find these throughout the city, ranging from depositing cans, jumping into trash, and finding them on the ground, or even knocking over jars that contain them. 25 of these are needed to be collected because that's how you get your first fish. But after that, they're for hats only. In Little Kitty Big City, you could do anything that you think a cat can do. You can walk around, charge headfirst into a wall, jump, and even aim where you want to jump. Pick things up, meow, nuzzle, knock people over, do the most useless thing in the game and emote. Swipe things down just because you feel like being an asshole. You can pounce, you can crawl, you can take a nap, you could take a picture, which again, completely useless. Moving on to the map. I didn't even know there was a map in the game until a duck gave it to me. It definitely made it easier, but I think I used it for like 30 minutes in the game. What I think they could have did is instead of receiving the map when you were more than halfway through the game, I think it would have been better to just find it within the first 5 minutes or so, and have markings appear on the map as you do more side tasks. For the design of the map, it was made by a duck, so what do you expect? Lewis and Clark level of quality? It is amazing that it was even created at all. In this game, there aren't any traditional enemies. There are dogs that guard spots around the city, but if you give them a dog bone, they just leave you alone. There is also water that you can't walk into. Outside of that, that's all. As I said earlier, there's no multiplayer in this game, which is a huge letdown. It would give the emotes a meaning to actually do, but also would allow for a bit more fun destroying pots with friends. There is absolutely no pay to win or real money cosmetics, which is a breath of fresh air in today's gaming world. But there are many hats you can unlock throughout the game. You could do this by either doing side tasks, finding these capsule ball things that you can open up, or by buying them from these hat machines, using the shinies that we mentioned prior before. This game is not super polished, and with that comes many times where your camera will rotate and go through a wall, not allowing you to see where or what you are doing. Not a huge deal breaker, but quite frustrating to deal with at times. But what is even more annoying than the game breaking a bit is doing the side quests and having to sit through a whole drama theater performance between characters. It should not take me 20 seconds of spamming skip to actually go through all the messages. Little Kitty Big City puts you right in the shoes, the paws of a cat. The game has a good idea in taking the approach of valuing exploring around the city as a cat. Unfortunately though, it just seems that there are way too many corners cut. The game is supposed to be a laid-back game, but with the game having breaking moments and needing to be precise at times just kept me from being laid back. The developers definitely knew about these glitches and put in a get unstuck button. It helps, but doesn't excuse just not fixing them. If this game could have waited longer before release to iron out these glitches, as well as not writing 6,000 words per interaction, then this game could have been much better. On our patented 0 to 1 scale, we rate this game a 0.63 out of 1. The game itself is mildly entertaining, but I just couldn't relax fully while playing it. After you beat the game as well, there just isn't much replay value in the game. If you like this no bullshit review of Little Kitty Big City, please climb that cursor to the sub button, flop like a fish onto that like button, and comment down below your favorite breed of feline. Thank you, good night, and make sure to check the tire pressures of your car. It can help save you gas money.